What's going on, Cigar Club family? Just wanted to jump in here and apologize for the last time. This will be the last episode that had some mic quality issues, so thanks for sticking through it all with us. But wanted to give you a little highlights of what this episode is about today. We teamed up with My Bourbon Journey, Mash and Drum, and to do an exclusive cigar with the barrel that we picked a few months ago. So this episode's going to detail the kind of process that we went through, more of a kind of an open form as opposed to a podcast. But we sat down with the guys and smoked the cigars and eventually landed on the blend that we chose. So you'll have more information about that throughout the episode. But those cigars are going to be available this Friday. So stay tuned for more information about that release. Really excited for this project and hope to do more with the guys in the coming future. We are doing the official pairing with the Barrel King Select Barrel King Select. Jesus, we're gonna roll that one from the top. Hello. What we're doing the official cigar pairing for the Barrel King Bourbon barrel that we selected. We've got 3 different options here. Right now, we are smoking cigar number 1, and I'm going to give the official breakdown. I know everyone's eagerly waiting for that. We have a Mexican San Andreas wrapper with Mexican San Andreas binder, and the filler is going to consist of Dominican tobaccos. We've got Dominican Oloro and Dominican Corojo. So that's blend breakdown number 1. Some of us are about a 1/4 inch in. I'm going to ash there so I don't ash on myself, but so far, I think all of us have a beautiful white ash, great burn, great just consistency of this cigar overall. I think some of us were getting maybe some pepper notes in the beginning. I know I'm getting a little bit of toasted almond and creaminess right now as we're just past that initial pepper front.
Yeah, that was the initial note. A lot of like black pepper. I got like a little like red pepper too, a little spiciness to it. A little red pepper too, which I really like. Yeah,
that's what we were all kind of picking up early on, was a little bit of that chocolate, a little bit more kind of peppery notes and stuff. And I think this will kind of, as we've kind of smoked down through this a little bit, it's really got a little more toasted almond and some creaminess. So
the toastedness is the toasted nuttiness. That's your Corojo probably right there. That nuttiness.
Yeah, amazing. It's a really nice balance. Again, still great like smoke output, which is really important.
Yeah, I'm just surprised the Mexican San Andreas. I'm surprised there's not more pronounced chocolate notes on it. Because I wanted to say it looked like a Mexican San Andreas with the spots, but it wasn't given that heavy, deep chocolate note that I usually get on those Mexican San Andreas. That's why I was like, maybe it's not. What a blend, though. That's a crazy blend.
Yeah, before it kicked into the toasted almond notes for me, I was getting, Troy, I think you were as well, some of those dark chocolate notes to it. I think the Dominican tobaccos in the filler, I think, do a really good job of bringing back double Mexican San Andreas, both in the wrapper and the binder. And I think those do a really good job of taming the cigar and not just being a full powerhouse.
Yeah.
Right.
That just is going to kick your ass the whole time.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was thinking was that, smoking it early on, I was thinking kind of the same thing. Is this going to be kind of a big boy or a powerhouse all the way through? But it's really, as you've gotten kind of, through the first third a little bit, it's really kind of mellowed out into that, nice kind of creamy toasted almond notes. So
it'll be interesting because we're all about a third or a little less into it. Jason's coming in fresh, so he's going to start experiencing and start tasting some of the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
He's a little bit delayed, but at least he'll pick up on some of the stuff that we talked about prior to this.
Yeah, and I think the approach with this blend is, I think we went into it initially knowing we were going to be somewhere in the 100, 115 proof. I think ultimately the barrel we selected was 123, if I remember correctly. A surprising 123.
On paper, it's 123.
Yeah. So the approach with this one was something that can withstand proof.
It drinks like definitely drinks like about 114, 112, but we were very surprised when we heard the proof point for that.
I still don't believe it.
I think it's perfect. Like,
Jared, did it remain about the same proof, roughly?
I haven't checked it since, but I'm sure it would.
Okay.
2 days. So,
I'm just getting the wood and the oak. Man,
This is a really nice smoke.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it with the whiskey here. A little. I gotta manage 3 cigars with this.
Well, that's a good little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, I like
that two?
I like that symbol on that glass.
I brought it out just for you, buddy.
Appreciate that.
This burn, I mean, this is so typical of La Isla and stacking dimes, white ash.
Every time.
No
Burn
white.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's really nice. I mean, the quality that this thing, or how the quality of the roll on it is so nice. The consistent, the burn. I mean, for it being such a fresh cigar, it's really burning well.
Yeah, and these have normally when you have a fresh cigar, it tends to be a little wet. These were in our warehouse for a little bit, and I had them kind of sit outside of with the Boveda packet, so they could come down a little bit in their humidity to be more accurate of what a cigar typically you would receive is going to be. So some of the strength may be a little bit higher than the final product, as is the case with a fresh roll. But all 3 cigars, I didn't mention this at the beginning, all 3 cigars were rolled at La Isla. So these are going to come from the same factory in the Dominican Republic, but all 3 blends are going to be tweaked to be a little bit different. But so far, off to a good start. I think this is going to be, as we were saying off cam before we started recording, I think all 3 blends, it's going to be difficult to pick. I don't think there's going to be a unanimous decision like there was with Barrel 2.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how we make a decision.
Yeah, a little bit more through the way through this cigar, like a really dark toasted almond through here.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I know it's weird to say when a cigar seems like creamy, but it is. This one's coming off very creamy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because I think a lot of people would be turned away from a dark Mexican San Andreas wrapper due to maybe experiences with the powerhouse that a Mexican San Andreas cigar can be. But this is really subtle. It's nuanced. There's a lot of that creamy notes that you would get with like a Connecticut wrapper, but it still has complexity. Yeah. It still has, Troy, I think you've been getting some barrel oak notes to it.
Yeah.
There's that complexity that you would associate with a more full-bodied cigar, but it's not that strength that you would get with typically with a San Andreas.
Do you know when they were rolled?
I mean, Scott, he was delayed on scheduling this for like a month, so I want to say like
2 or 3 months ago, maybe
2.5 months ago.
Man,
probably.
that is really good. So these are only going to get better in time as you age them in the humidor. Jesus. But they don't. They're not smoking young. I mean, they're smoking like they have a little bit of age.
Yeah. And that's why I purposely left these out and almost dry box them.
I did
so
last
that they
night.
could come down and then back up. Yeah. To get more of an accurate representation.
I'm in Louisiana, 80% humidity. You bring a cigar out here without dry boxing it, you can forget about it.
Yeah, you. There's no way you can not dry box in that humidity.
You're welcome for the delay then. I made your cigar better.
Thank you for that, Scott.
He knew what he was doing.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your slowness.
Thank you for your slowness.
I really like this with the whiskey too. I take a sip of the whiskey. I like the dark complexity of the cigar and how peppery it is. To kind of go, it really balances out the sweetness of that whiskey really nicely. None.
I have just enough to say for the actual selection.
Yeah, none seems to overpower the other, which is good.
That's good.
That's good.
I keep getting a little hint of that chocolate. Every now and then a puff will come through.
Creeps in there.
Will come through, which I'm sure as it ages, that's all going to come together. But that chocolate, every now and then, it still comes through.
We feeling 2 yet? Ready to move on?
Yeah, we can move on to number 2.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, let's get to cut up, lit up, and as soon as we're in it, I'll give the blend breakdown and the differences between the two.
If you guys have anything to semi-clear your palate, that would be ideal.
2 is the Churchill, correct?
Yeah.
Man, this thing is. Whew.
Yeah, this thing's got. If you want to know what the La Isla aging room smells like, smell this cigar because this takes me right to there.
That is pure musk.
Yeah, it's a great smell on this. So
that thing smells incredible.
God.
Firmly packed.
Yeah, this one's firm. You can tell. Definitely. Yeah, I see maybe one or two Ligero in there, possibly. Oh my god, that smells amazing.
Cold draw is exactly what it smells like. Little bit of dark fruit notes into it.
Barnyard.
Yeah, I get a
Yep,
little, I do get a
barnyard.
little bit of that. That little smell of almost like a over-ripened apple, like an apple that sits out and gets brown.
Little umami mushroominess, which
You guys feeling the wrapper like just
Yeah.
oily and
Yeah.
It's tooth.
That's a
It's
firm
got so
pack.
much tooth on it. It's real rugged.
Oh yeah, that's wow. Man, what
Yeah,
is
it's definitely
that note?
firmer. There's no doubt about
There's
that.
something like, oh my god, it's like savory. Whoever said umami mushroom, there's all of that going on in this. Wow.
Jesus Christ. This is
Oh, that's hella good. All right, so while everyone toasts and gets lit up, I'll take us through the blend breakdown. So featuring on this one, we have yet again another Mexican San Andreas wrapper. This time we have Nicaraguan binder. And then for filler, we have Dominican Piloto Cubano and then Dominican HVA and 2020 seed, which are just seed varietals of Dominican tobacco.
fuck, that's good.
So with this one, whenever I have Piloto Cubano, it tends to be drying almost. So I suspect as we smoke this one, we'll have a little bit more dryness coating the palate in a good way, which kind of makes you salivate and then wants to go back to smoke more, which may do really nicely to pair with bourbon because you're going to want to reach towards that bourbon to refresh your palate and then jump back to it.
It
Definitely
is
dry.
the number one.
definitely
There's like a fantastic, almost like a mushroomy kind of note to it, musty, mushroomy. There's something really nice about it.
I suspect the tobacco that's being used in this one has some age to it, just immediately based off that umami bomb that I'm getting.
And it's definitely so far like much more approachable, less spicy on the front than it was the first
I'm
one.
getting
So.
zero
less,
spice.
Yeah, less spice. Yeah, I'm not getting any
Yeah, this is
spice. This is
well-
all like dark. Yeah, it's all dark, rich, all those flavors.
Yeah.
Mushroom.
This is definitely aged fermented tobacco on this. No spice, no great, this.
I would
Completely.
say, I think early on, like anyone could smoke this cigar. It seems like right now,
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just even though it's still the same wrapper, because of the binder being different and obviously the fillers, it's just drastically changed the profile of the cigar. I would say it's almost nothing like the number one.
Oh yeah, totally different.
So this cigar brings out a very lovely chocolate note in the whiskey, in the pick. When you go,
Interesting.
if you let, kind of like you said, when your mouth gets a little bit dry from the cigar, then you go back to the whiskey, take a sip. I just got like this really nice like chocolate pop in it. That's really great.
The
All right, here we go.
Yeah,
That is really,
I
that's
got
a
the pick in the
really
glass.
good size.
I really like the size.
Yeah, together
I was a
that's
little
pretty
skeptical when I saw
fantastic.
it in the bag, but this just fits perfect.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the pick from the bourbon, the spice really comes out with the chocolate, and then this just accentuates it.
I'm going to have to take a sip of what I barely have left. This is really, really good.
Man,
Again, another fantastic good white ash.
Yeah, good burn again.
Yeah.
You could see how tight the wrap is and how it's burning. It's beautiful.
Yeah, much firmer,
Yeah.
much tighter on this for sure.
And
That's
even
what
when
she
the
said.
foot gets hot, you're not getting super spongy.
No,
at all.
I mean, and there's one thing that I love, or one of the reasons why I love Ostos and La Isla is construction is always on point. Burn is always on point. They're always packed in a way that adds to the construction, whether that be, in this case, is a little more of a firmer pack. The one, number one, was a little bit of looser of a pack, but it added to, or the reason for it was due to construction. That's one of the things that he pushes first is construction and burn have to be on point, and everything else comes afterwards.
Now,
And I think that's a great way to approach it.
let me ask you guys this. So, I mean, based on just the size here, do you think like if we pare this thing down to even like a Robusto or like maybe even like a Toro or something, are we still should be getting kind of some of the similar kind of profiles? I'm guessing.
Yes. So usually small tweaks would potentially need to be made, especially if you were to jump to a larger ring gauge, just because now your ratios of wrapper, binder, and filler are changed because you have more filler in a cigar and potentially less wrapper. So the blend will be tweaked ever so slightly, but the outcome generally is going to be consistent. Now, you can certainly approach it and change the profile, obviously, but the idea is to have a consistent profile, blend over blend, or Vitola over Vitola.
I mean, I love this cigar, but you're gonna have. I mean, you'd have to have a good hour and a half probably with this bad boy.
Probably longer than that.
A little bit
Maybe
longer
even
than that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's packed so tight, it's gonna burn slow. You can already tell. Look how slow this one's burning compared to the other one.
A little bit of cinnamon on the retrohale, just coming through every once in a while, but it's not a spicy retrohale by any means. It's really not. Excuse me. It's not anything that's offensive on the retro.
Like a chocolate bar.
Yeah, I was just
And it
picking
just
up
got such a nice creamy smooth. It's just so smooth.
Ooh. And I took a little sip of the bourbon.
Yep.
Really, really good with it. I don't know if you.
I'm gonna.
I'll believe it. I'll believe it when I
This
see
is a
it.
cigar like I'm just picturing myself on the front porch not doing anything. and
Yeah.
just sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound outside, no music, no distractions. So between 1 and 2, does anyone have a favorite between the two? I know that's a tough decision.
Man, that's
They
tough,
are.
man. They're so different. I love both of them so far. Both of them would do different things, different settings, different times of the year. Man, that's
I know.
tough.
I like both of them I love both of them for different reasons. I
That's
mean,
the shitty part of this.
I know it's gonna. That's what I say. It's gonna be
I
tough.
guess. I guess here are my thoughts. I guess.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead,
No, I was
sorry.
just gonna say I like what the whiskey and the cigar and vice versa does with the second cigar over the first one.
Yeah.
And I think two is much more approachable for, let's just say, like the everyday smoker, someone who's maybe not looking for like an overly complex cigar, but still a cigar that's got full of flavor. But yeah, I mean, I'm digging number two just because it feels like it's a cigar that makes you want to just take your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
So,
it's
so
still lit, I would go back to number one.
Yeah, in the cigar, it's not so much the like chocolate; it's more like a dry cocoa powder. In number two. I mean, look at that.
Number
bird.
one's
That is-
still lit.
that is-
after
I mean, I
5+ minutes.
literally I haven't touched number one in
when you
since we
go
lit
back
this up.
to when you go back to
and it's still
number
burning.
one, like number one is way more like on that earthy, spicy, still creamy.
Yeah.
But man,
Completely
two is like
different. Holy hell.
a two is like a cream bomb.
Yeah, going back to number one, and then right after two here, I'm loving number two. So I mean, if that
Wow.
helps already, I'm definitely voting number two over.
That's
number
crazy how
one.
different one tastes now in comparison.
Right?
To two.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's great cigar, but even feeling them in your hands, it feels like totally different.
Yeah, there's something
like
about
two
number
just
two.
two just feels like a really quality cigar, like a really nice, well put together cigar. And it's tight, man. That thing is tight.
This might be one of my favorite
Where's,
cigars out of La Isla.
Where's Jared right now? He's here. You want to? Is your camera suck, or you just on like a cruise ship or something? Where are you?
You can't see me?
He's working.
Is it that bad?
He's working on getting in the doghouse, smoking inside like that. Oh,
Yeah.
you're in so much trouble. You're in so much trouble.
I can move it outside now that they're done with the lawn.
And you know what?
Yeah, the
this
deed's
is
already
getting this cigar as you work its way back a little bit. The more you get into it, it gets slightly. I mean, ever so slightly, a little bit sweeter as you work your way back.
Yeah,
There's
tobacco sweet.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, right, Troy. You getting that a little bit?
Yeah.
And there's a now like it's starting to get a little bit on that like earthy kind of manure side of things a little bit. It's starting to change a little bit now, but still nice and creamy. I love that.
The draw is a tad bit tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the draw is a bit tighter than 2, but I don't mind it.
No, it's not anything, and I think that's just due to the firmer pack that we have with the cigar. Is anyone getting any of the dryness still?
From that
my
lips
Piloto
Cubano?
A little bit. Yeah.
It's plenty dry, and I'm trying to refrain from drinking all my whiskey.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I love about Piloto Cubano is that it gets the senses, it gets the mouth watering, it dries it, so it kind of rehydrates itself, and then that allows you to pick out more flavors as you move into it.
I guess if I was like describing that, I'd probably describe that as like kind of like that cedar note a little bit, that drying aspect, kind of like a
Spanish type cedar.
Yeah.
Y'all get like a spice right here? Man, I'm getting like a spice right in the back of the throat, like right at the bottom. It's like a little bit of a hint of like a little spice just sticking around in the back of the throat.
Yeah, there's definitely a hint there. It's not like number one. Number one has all the spice.
Right. Number one, right off the jump, number one was crazy spice. But it cooled off quick, but this one is just...
And the oil content's doing a really good job of just adding a little oil slick to my tongue and the front of my lips more so. The umami mushroominess that I had on the cold draw on the initial part of the cigar has subsided.
Yeah.
And it's transitioned to some sweetness, a little bit of cocoa. Yes. I don't want to say it's milk chocolatey, but the combination of that chocolate, the combination of the creaminess alludes to almost this milk chocolate element to it, which is really, really nice.
Yeah.
And I imagine if we were to continue to smoke this, those transitions would continue and further development down the lineup.
I might have to keep number 2 going for a little while just to
at this point, since number 1 was still going, I bet number 2 is going to go as long as we you come back to in 20 minutes.
Construction about the same for number 2 for you guys.
I'm even getting like a quick like fruit hint. It's real quick. It's there and it's gone, but it's like a slight fruit. I can't pinpoint exactly what that note is though.
The room note, it's really nice too. I mean, it's blowing straight out the door since we have it open, but the reminiscence of it is super pleasant.
Man, that's
not offensive at all.
I think it is starting to get a little more cocoa-y, like, but more of like maybe like even a milk chocolate, not an overly strong chocolate.
That's what I was saying. I think the combination of everything that I'm getting gives me that.
Yeah, it's like baking. It's cocoa like baking powder that you use to in like recipes or. Like, you don't want to take a teaspoon of it because it's going to just dry the hell out of you, but there's still something there that gives you that cocoa flavor.
This cigar, if there's a cigar that'll get you drunk, it's this one. It makes you want to keep drinking.
Yeah. That was the idea behind this one. You hit it on the head. And I think this is a cigar, you're walking down the street, someone's going, ooh, that smells good. What are you smoking? Right? Like, it engages conversation and people to ask you what you've got.
Yeah, I love the construction. I love the wrapper, the feel of it.
I know this is going to be difficult, but I think we have to give number 3 a shot here. So if we want,
or number 3,
let's move on to.
We have to.
Yeah, on to 3. Get it cut up, light it up, and I'll give us the blend breakdown.
Oh, I like the smell of that one already.
How's the footnote compare? Or the
This one, this wrap is. It still seems a little like a tight wrap.
A little more similar. 3 seems to be a little bit more similar to 1 in terms of the smell.
Yep.
Oh my god. The pick with number 2, it really brings the chocolate. Oh god.
I told you, man. That chocolate note just jumps out of the glass number 2, man.
It brings it out of not only the whiskey, but also brings it out of the cigar. Man, that's crazy pairing right there. All right, number 3. Let me
draw.
Get that.
Much more open of a draw.
Number 3 is perfect.
Give number 3 a chance.
So number 3 is the Robusto.
Yeah, the footnote of number 2.
This is the one my wife. When my wife smelled them all, she liked this one the best smell wise off of the just off the cigar.
Cold draw, still some of that dark fruit, like blackberry compote.
Oh yeah, there's a berry on there.
Oh yes,
on that cold draw. Yeah. Wow.
And even on the footnote still has that little bit of that aging room smell, but the cold draw is really nice.
Crazy. That's definitely berry.
cold draw, I got a distinct black cherry. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I can't think of a cigar. I can't think of another cigar that had that much fruit on the cold draw like that.
So as everyone gets this toasted up and lit up, so once again on theme, we have another Mexican San Andreas wrapper. We have the binder is going to be Dominican Habano. The filler is going to be Piloto Cubano again. We've got a Dominican Criollo and some Nicaraguan tobaccos in there. So the idea is that Dominican Habano should add a little bit of spice. I normally get some citrus notes with Habano.
God, dog, that's good.
And then I think that's going to be the Piloto Cubanos in there for the same reason as number 2.
Oh, man.
And then a little bit changes with the Criollo and Nicaraguan tobaccos.
Dude,
So this should have a little bit more spice.
It's like a blackberry tea.
Major.
You know what? The nice part about number 3, it's almost a slight blend of 1 and 2. It feels like it's a combo, a little bit of 1 and 2.
Number 3.
Yeah, because it's a little bit peppery. I'm still getting the cocoa powder, but there's also like a little bit more of that elevated dark fruit note.
Is this the Maduro or Habano? Because this wrapper looks a little brown, more brown than dark.
It's another Mexican San Andreas.
Okay.
I love these Mexican. Oh my god. These
Yeah.
are great.
Yeah, I think Mexican San Andreas wrappers do a really good job, which is why it's all 3 of really holding up to a higher proof bourbon. And
Oh
so
my gosh.
it just
Oh
lends
my
itself to be able to handle that proof and not be overshadowed by a high proof bourbon.
Man, you guys are making this tough because
Jared, what are you thinking? Which one are you leaning towards?
Yeah.
This one is seems like well rounded with the bourbon, and just it's like
Wow.
it's like a combination of 1 and 2 to me. A
Yeah.
little bit of chocolate.
Yeah, number two. Number 2 I thought was really good with number 2 I thought was really good with the with our pick. But man,
Yeah.
wait till you try the pick with number 3.
I'm going in.
Get it.
Ooh, 3 is
Three is
the most
three is-
complex so far.
Troy, shut it.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really good.
3's got everything going on it.
I want to let this come down a little bit because this might just even get better.
The smoke output on number 3, I think, is the
It's
best.
by far the best.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
The smoke is crazy.
Yeah. You gotta watch that.
It's a nice easy. It's a nice easy draw too.
with number 2, bourbon number 2. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of contextualize
Yeah,
what
there's
I'm
a
smoking here. It's tough.
really nice sweetness overall to number 3, especially with the bourbon. Really nice.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
pepper up
Yeah,
front.
3.
Really sweet retrohale on number 3. I think the sweetest of the 3. I'm getting a lot of that Piloto Cubano to start off. I'm not picking up that chocolate or the sweetness in the actual regular outside of the retrohale. But there's not a front pepper like we had in number 1.
God, I still love that slight like mushroomy taste on number 2 though.
I love that profile in a cigar.
2 by itself is just a fantastic cigar. 3 with the bourbon is on a whole other level.
All right, let's have another sip of what's left here.
And I burn through our pick on number 1. I'm on our pick now.
Just sent you guys bottles.
Yeah, very well. So I'm really curious to see as we smoke into number 3, just how much that Habano binder will change the profile of the cigar. Like I said, on paper, I was thinking it was going to add a little bit of spice to the cigar. Actually, surprisingly, I'm not getting that at all. So I either get spice or citrus notes or sometimes both when I smoke a cigar that that has some Habano in it. So I'm curious to see if that comes through at all, or if that maybe is just balancing out the fillers and the wrapper of the cigar.
Like
Yeah, it's
strawberry.
great construction on it.
Oh man. Oh my gosh.
Not as creamy. Well, no, I take that back. I think the level of cream is there too. It's complex.
Yeah,
Holy
I
hell.
think there is some creaminess.
I was in the bathroom
Yeah.
doing my best thinking. This cigar with a steak or ribs would be friggin' awesome.
That would be. All right, Jeff, fired up.
That sounded like an invitation.
It wasn't.
Be nice, Griff.
He does have resting douche face.
Yes, it made it. It made it. Little RDF. That'd be the next shirt I make you that you don't wear.
RDF.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Yikes.
Dude, 3 with a tri-tip? My God. Jeez.
I told you this was not going to be easy.
I feel like I'm smoking burnt ends in some weird way.
Yeah, it has a savoriness to it. Yeah. A meatiness.
A little sweetness from the burnt ends, but then the
Meaty,
meatiness of the actual meat and the smoke of the smokeness. The smoke of the smokeness.
Exactly.
That's a
It's like
What's
great
crazy
dictionary.
is that cold draw, man. That cold draw was literally like blackberry tea or like cherry tea, and I'm not getting any of that on the actual smoke.
Which is one thing that I always find, actually, you say that, I just got that tea note, that kind of sour is maybe not the right word to describe tea, but the tea leaves just came through as you were saying that. Maybe you inceptioned it into my brain. But
it's on the finish. Long after on the finish, it comes through a little bit on the long, after a while, after the puff on the finish.
Oil content completely different than number 2. I'm not getting that oil slick across my tongue or my lips. And I think I'm getting a little bit more of the piloto.
It's not nearly as drying either.
Yeah.
Going back to
I
number
was
2.
getting a kick too. From number 2, I was getting a nicotine kick. I'm not getting it from this one.
Oh, damn, that's good too. I thought 2 was a clear cut for me, but 3 is making a run for its money.
Yeah, 3 is.
Like three seems like it's just like a really well blended, like a nice pairing with a really good bourbon. So.
And to think that they're just going to get better as they sit in the humidor is just crazy to think about.
Yeah, all 3 of these cigars could do well with, or will do well with
number
time.
2. Yeah, number 2. I just want to sit on my porch and just smoke that thing all night. But number 3, I want to light and actually drink and smoke this with my whiskey.
Yeah.
It just
Taste
does.
the whiskey with 3?
That's probably a good point because number 2 is a great cigar to just sit and smoke, and 3 is a really nice cigar to do that and enjoy a whiskey with it.
Yeah. And the size, I mean, it's a Robusto. If you're looking to drink with something, the Robusto is the size you want. I love a Churchill, but a Churchill is so hard to smoke because you have to have so much time to be able to sit and smoke a Churchill.
Well, this is more a Toro, right? I mean,
no, it's a Robusto.
Right?
I think I would say maybe this is a Robusto Extra. Yeah, it's got a little.
Okay.
I think this is probably a 5.5 by 52, if I'd have to, or maybe a 50.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah, that's like a really nice cigar.
Yeah, great size.
It's a Tobusto.
Yeah. There you go.
A Tobusto.
Yeah, I mean,
this is.
What do you think?
Yeah,
Griff?
you guys
This
did not
is
make it
a puff and pour cigar right here. This is.
Yep.
Puff and pour.
Oh, geez.
This has
Anybody
the profiles,
going
right
back to number
across
2 or number 1?
I'm going back to number 2.
Man, still great smoke output on number 3.
2's out for me. 2 went out.
Yeah, mine. I didn't keep mine up. Tough. I knew it was going to be, but damn.
You go back to 2. You go back to 2 right now. It's like drinking. It's like smoking on like some shepherd's pie.
Shit.
It's like,
Now that's a description.
It is mushroomy, creamy, all that.
Little beef
Savory,
Wellington.
A tad spicy. That's what we would call if we went with number 2. We're calling it shepherd's pie.
So I think it's between. If I had to make a consensus, it's between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I think we're leaning towards 3.
I got to relight 2.
I'll do it with you.
I'm not completely set on that yet.
Here you go. I'm gonna toss a hot lighter at me. I know it's coming. Yay.
Man, I love number 2. There's something about number 2 that is
I do too.
Really is resonating with me.
Don't get caught up on the size either.
No.
But
I've got a lighter notebook. You don't need to toss that.
3 is, to me, 3 is definitely the most complex. From puff to finish, so much going on in each puff. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just think you always have to think from the perspective of the group, what the group you think will like more.
Right.
And like personally, like I said, I love 2 for so many reasons, but I just think 3, given the size, given the flavors, given how well it goes with the whiskey, I think that would be, because even if you don't want the cigar or you just want the cigar, it's going to be a home run either way. And if you just want, if you get both, I think it actually pairs the best.
Right.
I like 2, but the fact that it's so drying, that you have to just keep going back to the whiskey to clean out your palate. I mean, that's fine, but I rather
good point.
I rather folks be able to puff and pour and sit and relax both with equal time and really enjoy the whiskey and the cigar together.
Especially at 123 proof or whatever it came out to be specifically.
Exactly.
You don't necessarily need to be going back to that in between every puff. You're going to be hitting the floor real soon after that.
We'll sell more bottles.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think I agree in terms of the overall combo of the whiskey and the cigar. Like that combo, I think 3 probably 2 is one I just want to sit down and just take my time with.
Yeah,
and 3 is probably one where you can equally enjoy it just on its own and or with a really good whiskey.
Yeah, like 2, I wouldn't want to drink whiskey with it. I just want to sit and relax with that cigar all night long.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want anything muddling and fucking with that cigar.
Right.
But number 3, I feel like you can enjoy both and just sit and relax and
I mean, I think that makes perfect sense.
There's definitely enough backbone to number 3 to really hold up to this higher proof whiskey.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, and with the whiskey
2 is like
side,
2 is like, guys that have smoked cigars 10, 20 years, they're gonna smoke 2 and be like, that's a cigar.
Yeah.
But the guys that are gonna be buying cigars with this, they're gonna say, oh well, it's Mash and Journey. I've never smoked a cigar, but since they're doing it, I want to buy it because they did it. This cigar, I think they would smoke it. Maybe if it's their first time, their third time, they're gonna smoke this cigar and be like, okay, this is good. It's got flavor. If you never smoked a cigar before and you smoke 2, I think you're gonna be like, oh my god, like they're not gonna like that mushroom, that musty flavor. That's a very veteran profile. Compared to
Scott had the descriptor of the day when he said it tasted like manure. Everybody wants that.
Yeah.
Well, my wife said that. My wife smelled it. She's like, that literally smells like shit.
Yeah. Excuse me. I said that the other
day. We call that barnyard, okay?
Yeah.
Barnyard. That's what I told her. I said Stephanie, it's barnyard, not shit.
Barnyard.
Or, we're going to turn that into a positive descriptor.
Or sometimes we say in whiskey, what do we say, Scott? We say it's earthy.
Yeah.
Earthy, yes, earthy. Yeah, earthy exactly. Earthy. Yeah.
Earthy is just a nice way to say horseshit.
Yeah, I love in the wine world the descriptive, creative ways to come up with, I think, positives for a weird descriptive taste.
I can see where you guys were getting kind of like that, like dark, maybe like black tea note, like on 3. It's starting. It seems to kind of
it creeps in every once in a while.
On the finish.
It's maybe even like, I don't know if this is weird or like in my mind from the whiskey, but there's like a little bit of like maybe even like a mintiness or something. I don't know why, but
with the whiskey or the cigar?
I was thinking
the cigar.
The cigar. I feel like the cigar smokes like I'm smoking a rye whiskey almost a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I can picture that.
Yeah,
like a
well-aged dark. A well-aged dark rye whiskey, like a 12-year.
It does already taste like a cigar that's been aged though a little bit, which is really nice. I mean, for it being as fresh as it is for the most part.
And I don't know, the tobacco that in this could have been aged prior to being rolled,
right?
Which I suspect definitely is the number 2 because I associate that umami mushroomy flavor with aged tobacco.
Yeah,
I think the tobacco that's being used in 3 wasn't aged as long. But it still has some age to it prior to hitting, being rolled.
Yeah, I mean, I think Troy nailed it in the beginning when he said it's a really nice combo of 1 and 2. You have some earthy, you have some spice, but there's a nice little kick of sweetness. It's not overbearing, and I think it goes the best with the whiskey.
Yeah,
I think.
Griff, where are you? Where's Griff landing on the on all three of them?
I think you made a super valid point with the dryness of number 2, and not necessarily. I don't know if complimenting is the right word, but 3, in my opinion, would make me want to drink and smoke both.
Yeah.
Number 2, I'm still set
for
on
sure.
not drinking anything at all, or drinking water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And letting the cigar.
It's almost too good of a cigar to be paired with anything other than itself. And
2?
yeah, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 2 is.
That's probably a really good point. Like 2 is one of those cigars you really want to enjoy that just for what it is and not like affect the flavor of the tobaccos.
Yeah.
2 would go good with like maybe a steak or food or even like a heavy cab. But this one here, it goes so well with that whiskey.
I think 3's it. I think we've, from at least the consensus that I'm hearing, I think 3 is going to be.
What about the Barrel King? What is he saying?
I agree.
Yeah, Barrel King.
Number
Jack,
2
where
is
you at, Mr.
mind-blowing.
Blurry?
Number 2 is mind blowing.
Number 2.
3 goes really well with the whiskey.
Yeah.
So are we locking in 3?
Yeah, let's get the votes in. Troy, where are you at?
Yeah, for this, what we're doing, 3, no doubt. 3. I think 3 is the best pick for the group. The group, like Jason said, you got to think who's going to be buying the cigar.
Yeah.
And this is what I would give guys that are going to be buying this cigar. 2 is like as lack of a better term, it's a veteran cigar.
Yeah.
It's by itself. It's your grandfather's cigar. Like they're going to smoke that. They're like, this is a cigar.
Yeah.
You give that cigar number 2 to a rookie, they're going to taste that mushroom and be like, what the hell is? They're not going to like it. This has great, everything to go with the whiskey. I think 3 is perfect.
Scott, what's your vote?
Yeah, I tend to agree with the other guys. I think 3 is probably the perfect combo of the 2. I mean, I really, really enjoy number 2 just as a cigar in general, but I think overall pairing, I think 3 is a fantastic cigar.
I think Griff and I.
2.
At least we all like this.
Yeah,
cigar.
David.
I know, right?
David, can you just run down real quick again the makeup of the third cigar?
Yep, you read my brain. So once again, number 3, Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Dominican Habano binder, and then the filler is going to consist of Dominican Piloto Cubano, Dominican Criollo, and Nicaraguan tobacco.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of complexity.
Yeah.
Right there.
It really is. That cigar is like that's where I live. It's not overly dark. It's not overly light. I mean, I think it leans a little bit more dark.
Yeah, I think strength, I think it's medium, maybe medium plus. It may probably hit medium plus towards the end.
Yeah.
I think
that's where I would go. That's where I would go with it, like medium plus. Yeah.
And I definitely think in 3 there's still much more now as we're starting to kind of work our way through. Much more of those like that creamy chocolate cocoa notes are really kind of coming out in this one now.
Yeah.
It's
and
getting creamier.
I don't know what it is. Where number two, the cigar was bringing out a little bit more of a chocolatiness to the whiskey, but number 3 is amplifying more in the whiskey. A little bit more of it, a little bit of everything in the whiskey than number 2 was.
a little bit more complimentary.
So it's a really nice compliment.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. I think that's official. Blend number 2 for the barrel and blend number 3 for the cigar. We did it. How's everyone feeling? I mean, I think this is going to be great.
It's going to be great.
I mean, I'm going to smoke the rest of this cigar and probably number 2 tonight, and
I'm gonna keep this out, and when I'm done tonight with filming, I'm gonna come back out here and finish the shit out of number 2.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, that was easy.
Yeah, that was real easy. I'm glad I was very shocked, actually. I didn't think we would all come to an overall consensus of, I suspected someone would like 1, Someone would like 2, someone like 3, and we'd be torn. But I think for the most part, we all feel like 3 is going to be the perfect one for that barrel. Yeah. And number 2,
I think
we're going to be utilizing that blend in something else for sure. So don't worry, number 2 will exist in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I think just given Scott and I, and even Troy, knowing our group, I mean, all 3 of them are delicious. Are delicious cigars in their own right. But number 3, I just think overall just does. I think will be a real crowd pleaser for everybody. Not only to smoke it with the amazing blend that Jared did, but also just a great way to introduce guys to CigarClub as well. So,
and I think 3 on its own will be, if you're not looking to drink that night, 3 is going to be just an absolute fantastic cigar by itself. So you don't necessarily have to pair this cigar with anything. It stands on its own, just like the Bourbon does.
I mean, the burn is fantastic. Yeah. It's a great roll. Like it's a really. I mean, I guess here's another thing. I guess in terms of the size of it, like, are you guys on board? Like, would you? I mean, could we do this? I mean, this seems like a perfect cigar, right?
Yeah, it's a great size.
I think this size is absolutely perfect. You get an extra half-inch, maybe.
I don't want to mess with. Yeah, I don't want to mess with the size. That size is perfect.
I agree.
Yeah, the Robusto.
Yeah, which is probably why it was blended in that size too.
Yeah, no. There's a little expertise over there at La Isla. They know what they're doing, and I think that's why we have 3 different cigars, 3 different Vitolas that speak well to what that blend was going to be.
Yeah,
and it's amazing to have that knowledge, knowing this cigar needs to have an extra half-inch because of the blend, or it needs to be a larger Churchill, almost Lonsdale-y combo between the 2. Amazing.
Definitely.
Gentlemen, this was wonderful. This is not going to be the only venture that we do. I think next time it'd be really cool to do the inverse, select a cigar, and then pair it with a blend of from Jared over there. I think that's going to be fun, just to do the inverse of it and make that difficult to to select which bourbon's going to go with the cigar that we select.
Challenge accepted.
There we go. Let's do it. Well, we're going to work on the fine details of getting all of this together. So stay tuned for more information of when you can get your bottle, as well as the 5-pack of the cigars that we're going to be putting together. Once again, blend number 3. Held that up difficultly with the broken pinky. So stay tuned for more information to that. I think we'll both be posting where you can purchase these. But this was really fun. I know this is one of the coolest experiences that I've had. I've never done this before.
100%.
Yeah. Awesome, guys.
This bucket list type stuff, man. To be able to pick a cigar, I didn't even think it'd be possible. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, this was great. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this. Stay tuned for more information, and thanks for joining us.